Off top, Charlie, you know how many players that are currently on the NBA roster were born after LeBron James made his debut? Play music.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.
Welcome to the Domonique Foxworth Show. Oh, Jeff's not here because I'm looking at it on TV. Maybe he'll come join us at some point. I'm Domonique Foxworth. I'm in New York. Charlie's in DC. Jeff's downstairs talking about the Steelers. Maybe he'll come join us at some point. But Charlie, you got an answer for me?
One, I missed Jeff Saturday. I hope he comes.
Ouch.
He's a great Jeff. Like the dynamics have been great. Like I'm not saying, I missed Darlington. I missed Saturday. So I'm trying to do the math on this. There were 450 NBA players and born after LeBron's debut, which is October 2003. So it's basically how many players in the NBA are 22 and younger. It's about the last 3 drafts, 60 players per draft.
So scientific. Just throw a number, Joe.
I'm going to go with 178.
Oh, 83, according to my Googling.
183 or 8? Or 8
just 83.
Yeah. Oh, damn, I wasn't even close. My scientific math was terrible.
Yeah, just throw a number out there. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, the NBA season is starting, and LeBron's not playing in it, but we're not talking about basketball.
By the way, hold on. I know we're not talking about basketball, but you saw the LeBron Westbrook story, right?
I did see the LeBron Westbrook.
It's the funniest in the world.
It's not the funniest in the world. It's kind of cringy. It's not even funny. It's like uncomfortable.
No, the funniest part is I know you, and the number one thing you hate is fake pleasantries and fake compliments and fakeness. So hearing Russell Westbrook be like, I can't take the fake as LeBron peppered Will Smith with an hour of questions after leaving the room. I'm a LeBron guy. I've always been a LeBron guy. We know this. Yeah. People have said I'm a stan, but it's objectively funny.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you have to be able to be honest with the people who you're fans of, and I mean it's honestly like I was just more embarrassed than able to laugh. It was just like uncomfortable because it was like they went into the whole thing about pretending to read books and stuff. And
the funniest part was LeBron standing up when Will Smith was coming, like, all right, I'm good here. You guys got this. And then AD being his lackey, being like, me too. And then leaving the room. It's just so funny.
I'm gonna need you to stop because it's making me uncomfortable just hearing about the embarrassment. I don't know. I didn't know this about myself that I apparently I get aggressive secondhand embarrassment. I think it's only for people that I really root for.
Yeah,
I want LeBron to do well. He does do well. He doesn't.
So do I. It's also it's by the way, this episode is such nitpicking. It's like we need to pick at LeBron's legacy. It's like he's pretending, he's self-aggrandizing with the books. All right, well, get at me when you make a self-aggrandizing 10-part documentary.
Oh, he's going to, by the way.
I know, but I'm just saying,
just wait.
The standard is up here when it comes to self-aggrandizing NBA players.
Gosh.
But he's going to be smarter about it, and he's got to subtly self-aggrandize within.
We won't be watching documentaries by then. It's going to be like a 10-part TikTok or whatever by the time LeBron makes it. Aren't they going to stop making documentaries?
You sounded so old there.
I am old. What do you mean?
I know, we are old.
Because I'm complaining about...
you're going to move to TikTok.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I didn't realize how old I sounded. You're right. That's a fair point.
Back in my day, we had hagiographies from athletes.
No, we didn't, is the thing. We didn't.
This is our day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I got you. You're right. Yeah, this is our day. Anyway, speaking of being old, I got a lot of text messages because on Get Up this morning, I lightly made fun of Marcus Freeman for getting a little paint on the hairline and putting on a hat to protect himself. I thought that was fair game for jokes.
Is it not? He's like when you're he's a successful, very handsome person. If you can't take shots at that guy. You want Domonique to punch down instead?
No, it was mostly from people like me who are also struggling with their hairlines. It was like, man, why you do him like that? It was more like that. Like, why you do my guy like that? Let him get away. Like, he wasn't fooling nobody. He don't never wear no hats. Now all of a sudden you got a hat, something going on. It is raining.
It's like Do people not think that the camera is going to pick up on it? Like, we screenshot everything.
Yeah, you can't be. I mean, it's not good play action. I think it's like I feel like I might get a little something in the corners. I feel like it's reasonable play action. You can't reset the line. Like you just can't reset the line.
You get a lot of interceptions by playing palms.
Also, well, I was surprised because like I send in clips and stuff that I want to be on the show sometimes, and you see the way Jeremiah Love celebrated at the end of that game, the Notre Dame USC game.
No.
Yeah, by humping the ground. You remember Jameson Williams?
Yes.
And so I sent it in as a Zero Fox Given segment thing. They actually put it on. It was on for too long. I ran out of things to say. We're just all standing, me, Greedy, Jeff, J-Mac, just in Graziano just standing around while Jeremiah Love is on the giant screen, just humping away at the ground. I have regrets.
It's okay. Sometimes you just gotta hump
People
the world.
forgotten about it by now, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's an awesome player. He is like, we'll get, obviously we have a whole offseason to get to this. This is a really interesting NFL draft because it feels like there are some really notable guys that aren't quarterbacks going into this, which is always like, but it's not like a bad draft. They're name brand guys at different positions. Whether
you guys got your first round pick?
We do.
Oh, so you've already started looking.
No. It wasn't even about looking. It's pretty notable because people have been talking about Jeremiah Love as a prospect for 3 years now. Same with Caleb Downs. The Caden Proctor piece has obviously gone nuts this year where they've used him as a quarterback, as a wide receiver, and a running back, where he's wearing a crop top at 6'7", 360. And then Ruben Bain is
Alabama. Yeah. Who do you want?
If I could just pick any of them?
Yeah. Who do you want on to join your Mandos?
I mean, the best one. I guess Ruben Bain.
Okay. I just was wondering.
Yeah. No, give me Proctor. Give me the Ogden-sized guy. Given that my quarterback right now has an injured hamstring and the season is in peril.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious right decision. All right.
Let's just kick Connerly into guard. We'll be fine.
Let's get to arguing because I know we're going to argue.
Well, we're going to argue eventually. But there's something I've been reading a bunch this week, and I know it's been happening for 2 weeks now, that people are starting to really notice how good Drake Maye. What's up?
Jeff is on the way.
Great. Well, he can hop into the argument when it happens. We're not there. I think we might vigorously agree on the first topic. But like, there's been a lot written. Like Tyler Dunn wrote about Drake Maye last week, which was about how the Patriots turned their program around when Vrabel was able to, use the fact that there was no rubble remaining from the Belichick dynasty to start something completely new and bring in all of his guys. And Drake Maye wants to be coached hard. And then Mike Sando wrote about it this year, and the stats are pretty overwhelming. You have the tape of it too, where the guy has some Josh Allen type physicality. He's got to make some Aaron Rodgers type throws, and it feels like the breakout is really happening. And the Patriots have a very beneficial schedule that's going to have them winning a lot of games as well. But just in brass tacks, as an entry point to this discussion, how many quarterbacks are you taking before Drake Maye right now?
I mean, a lot of them. Like Drake Maye is playing as well as anybody in football right now, but I think that there's another level of quarterback play that we haven't seen him tested at yet. And I think also the big question is one that I'm surprised that you didn't include into your intro is like, can he stay healthy? Because he plays a lot like your guy, Jaden Daniels does. So like
he got his head dribbled off the turf again last week after potentially 2 concussions last season.
Right. And then they stood him up like nothing happened and put him back in the game.
Just shaking his head like, oh, that'll fix it. I'll just shake my brain back into alignment.
Yeah. So, I mean, if the question is like Drake Maye at his best, like he's as good as anyone in football at his best. I mean, short of like Mahomes at his very he's here. We can reset the camera and get
Jeff Saturday is joining the pod live as I glaze a New England quarterback.
Oh, that's not gonna work for Jeff.
I know.
But no, you got it wrong. It's not New England.
It's a UNC quarterback. This is even better.
He's all in for Drake Maye. Yes, sir. What do you see, Jeff? Come over here in his 3-piece.
I saw a little vest.
3-piece. Little vest. Look at him.
You see a little. Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's
the third piece for you, Charlie.
You look like you're 1 second away from making Domonique disappear.
That's a new one. Greeny said that he looked like Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah.
And I said he looked like a Southern lawyer because I feel like those are the only people that I see in three-piece suits.
Southern
He looked
lawyer.
like a lawyer from the South.
Do you know in Arkansas you can wear cowboy boots into court as a lawyer?
Why
And
can't
where?
you can't wear cowboy boots
Or maybe you're encouraged to?
I was going to say
In
you can
Arkansas.
do that anywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we were talking about Drake Maye. Yeah, boots are not disrespectful. We were talking about Drake Maye and how good he is. And Charlie was telling me that there's no quarterback that
That's not what I said. No, we're not starting the gaslighting early. All I said was, how many quarterbacks would you take before Drake Maye?
Oh,
How many quarterbacks would you take before Drake Maye?
Drake Maye. Let me think.
Charlie, who you got?
I have the big four. I'm assuming healthier. Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, Burrow. And then I have the next
Well, you
tier
can't
of.
count 2 of the 4 being healthy. So go with the ones that are healthy.
All right, so I'll take them out. So I'll take Mahomes and Allen.
Okay.
I'm going to take Stafford and Dak Prescott,
Okay.
and I'm going to take Baker Mayfield, and then I'm taking Drake Maye above Justin Herbert and the injured Jaden Daniels. But in that he's at that spot right now with how well he's playing.
So
and
with
it's not like
injured
it's a
guys,
wonderful
you'd have him at
situation.
like 11 is what you're saying.
If everyone's healthy,
Yeah. If everyone's healthy, you'd have him like 10-ish or so.
yeah,
somewhere.
8 to 10 in that range. Like because right now I think I have like 5 guys ahead of him who are healthy playing football, and that's me guarding my heart.
Hard question. Who you put him? Because I guess I don't disagree with that. I was looking forward to arguing with you about.
I told you we were going to argue on this topic.
We're gonna find something to argue about because you was pissing me off earlier today. I can't wait till we find something to argue about. Charlie's acting crazy, man. But who's the player that you're? I don't know who's the player that you thought would be difficult for us to figure out with Drake Maye. Who's the quarterback?
I just thought this was an entry point because I think it's shocking that this is someone who, we really like the talent he flashed that much. And I remember when we were talking about quarterback tiers before the season, we were like, it's going to be borderline impossible for someone to enter the tier of Allen, Jackson, Burrow, and Mahomes. And like, even if they do it for 1 year, like Daniels did last year, like I'm going to need to see it consistently because those guys are all on the Hall of Fame trajectory. There is a tiny bit, given the way that Drake Maye has been this good, that if he puts it together for a full season, he's going to be a top 3-4 MVP candidate. That I do think we might start rethinking that because it's not like, yes, the sample size will be small, but the talent is so overwhelming, and it's not like this is not a stacked deck. Like he doesn't have. We expected this, not to take a shot at someone. We expected this from a team that has DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and a completely remade offensive line and Ben Johnson, not a 32-year-old Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, Ramondre Stevenson coughing up the ball and like being a defense first team. That's what's so surprising about this, even with the schedule.
Well, I think part of it, you kind of Josh McDaniels, their offensive coordinator, is an absolute stud, and he's putting them in great positions to win. And I think Drake Maye is an incredibly gifted, athlete and quarterback, which makes him a true dual threat, right? Like he can pull the ball down. His biggest thing from my perspective is protect himself, which he doesn't do a great job. And I would say this: had he had Josh last year, the same time Daniels had those two would be interlocked to me. Like they're the same style players, right? Like they
throw the deep ball well.
Exactly. Yeah. They can pull the ball down if they need to. They can make plays. They're smart. They're brave. And I'm not that everybody's not brave, but you know what I mean. Like they're brave in the pocket. They're not afraid to take a shot as they're giving the ball up. I like both of those kids, and I just think when I hear people talk about like young quarterbacks that way, I get it's a lot has to do with coaching, especially at that position in particular. Is, hey, we can lose the battle but still win the war, right? And so figure that part out. And I think that to me is like where Caleb Williams has to learn is when the play is over, and he's trying, right? Ben Johnson's working, but I would have him. I mean, I would definitely have him in that mix of all the people you said. There would be no argument, I don't think, not if you've been watching him this, in this 7-game stretch or whatever.
Get to the fight, Charlie.
Well, no, one last thing on this, Domonique. I guess for both of you, how rare is this? Because Jeff, you played with Peyton, and Domonique, you went from everywhere, from playing with Cutler to Matt Ryan when he was a high pick.
Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco is a high pick too.
Jake the Snake.
But I just mean particularly
I started my career with the snake.
Yes.
I just mean particularly with young first rounders, where all of the things that are written about, and I'm glad you brought up Josh McDaniel, because when you hear Josh Dobbs's quotes about Drake Maye and other players on the team, they're like, this system, McDaniel's asking a lot more of Drake Maye than a lot of young quarterbacks are given. And the number one thing is that Drake Maye really likes being coached hard, and you kind of need to, like, I don't know, be an old school football guy to succeed in Josh McDaniel's system. And I wonder how much that aligns with, I don't think that there's every guy's the same like that, but you played with several first round quarterbacks, and that, how key is that to the development of this stuff?
I mean, it's all the stuff matters. And figuring out which one matters the most is like, whichever thing fails. Like, if you don't have the arm strength, then all this other stuff doesn't matter. Like, if you don't have the accuracy, then all this other stuff doesn't matter. So I do think that you're getting to like the top tier of the pyramid, where it's like personality fit, which does, when you get there, like, of course, no one's going to get drafted if they don't meet all the bottom criteria. But before you even get to that, then it's like, who's with you and who, what support you have. Do you have a running game? Do you have a defense? Do you have receivers? Do you have people to take pressure off? Do you have a coach who understands the situation? And then you get to the psychology of it. I mean, ultimately, it's about, most players want to succeed. And to me, it's been about, what are you doing to help me succeed? Yeah. And the players will be on board with you if they trust what you're doing is going to help them succeed. For coaches who have, and I think what happens for McDaniel is he has enough experience and enough pelts on the wall and enough connections to successful people that he can also coach you hard. Yeah. Because I've done it. I think sometimes what happens is, like, even a big ego guy that you would think maybe doesn't want to be coached hard. If somebody walks in there who's like, I helped Tom Brady become Tom Brady. Yeah. The ego guy's going to shut the hell up and sit down and fall in line, especially when the things that they tell you actually turn out to have success on the field. Yeah. And so I think that's all it comes down to. Yeah.
Did you see that specifically, though, with like differences in that with Flacco?
Well, I was going to say this. So like you would think, like Caleb Williams is getting coached hard. Yeah. Don't believe that he's getting coddled. Like, Ben Johnson is coaching that dude freaking hard, man. And it will make him a better quarterback, right?
It already is. So, it's starting to come through. It's already like he's played better and better. I mean, last week notwithstanding, but this season there's been considerable.
But I mean, I think to your point, I think all players don't mind being coached hard, as long as there is a method to the madness, right? Like, even Peyton wanted to be coached hard. Now there's a line that you don't cross with it. Like, you can't crush them, right? Like, they still deal with a lot more than every other player, right? Through criticism, through all these things. So as long as it's constructive, I feel like ripping them or being like, why were you doing this, or challenging them to be better or whatever. I don't think any good ones will ever turn away. I think when it becomes personal and it's like, wait a minute, bro, like you're part of like the group criticizing me as opposed to critiquing me to help me be better.
And I think that goes to the coaches. Like, it's the coach's responsibility to know, like, we compared Vrabel to Gannon when Gannon was slapping players in the chest. Right. Like, Vrabel's a tough dude.
Absolutely.
He's fighting at the bottom of piles at training camp.
Right.
Yeah.
But he responded to Ramondre Stevenson's fumble situation as like showing him support.
For sure.
And he's still fumbling, keep showing him support. I think it's understanding what the player needs and giving them what they need when they need it. Because there's sometimes when a player is doing the best they can, things not working out, and I can't do nothing to fix it right in this moment. That's right. Me yelling at you, get your in gear or whatever, like get intense or serious, whatever type of nonsense. I was trying not to curse there. But whatever type of nonsense they're going to yell, it's not going to help me right now.
That's exactly right.
But there are times when you show up to practice and you're like, man, we just going through the motions, where you need to get MF. Right. And then you recognize, you were right.
That's right.
And then you follow that with, this is the thing, the specific thing that you need to work on to get better. That's all it comes down to.
I'll give you a good example. Like, when I was playing, Howard Mudd was my O-line coach. And Howard Mudd, we called him a mad scientist, right? He would rip you, dude, and he would say some harsh things to you. But, like, there were games that I was playing, and a guy got the best of me, right? Like a Ted Washington who's like 370 pounds and he's 8-8 gap, and you're asking me to dry block him. And Mud would just look at me and go, "Hey man, just get your hit with dignity. Like it's just part of it. Like I know I played a game like bro, like you're overmatched, man. And it is what it is. Like I appreciate you getting your head there. You're trying to do the right thing. He throws you off like you're a little ant trying to bite his leg and he makes a play. I get it, right? We shouldn't be running AA gaps, right? Gap from with that guy in there. And it's like good coaches understand when it's completely your fault and it was something that you didn't listen to the coaching at hand versus are you kind of doing on your own or just being like, hey, man, those guys are really good too. Understanding that balance, I think, is what puts the best players out there. Oh, he'd hit it with me. He'd be like, Saturday, just get your kid with Davey.
I love that.
I would ask him, I'd be like, hey, can we double? He's like, why waste two guys? That's literally what he would tell me. He'd be like, why are we going to waste two guys? We're going to let them go to the backers. You just get in there and fight, try to gnaw. He gave me the Dan Kill. No, bite his knee, trip him, bite him, scratch him, just try to get him pissed off where he wants to fight you instead of the ball carrier. I was like, thanks, man. Thanks for the Hall of Fame advice, bud. But it was great advice. It helped.
Make sure you make the tackle. Good job making the tackle.
Yeah.
Make sure you make the tackle. We blitzing. We putting you out there on the island. I need you to make the tackle.
That's right.
All right, make the tackle.
Sometimes they're really good, man. And it's like, bro, they
get paid too.
Yeah. You're like,
by the way, I did love that in the Tyler Dunn article about the Patriots rebuild. The first line was Domonique was essentially Mike Vrabel saying accountability is the rule of the locker room, and it goes to wash rags even.
That's
absolutely
pick that up. I mean, I know that you've heard the famous Ed Reed story about all that stuff. Like those are the little things that I think influence the culture of a team. And I think the younger I was, the more I thought that stuff was irrelevant. The older I get, the more I'm like, those little things matter. Like, picking up the wash rags off the floor is not going to make a tackle on Sunday, but it does set the tone of how we behave while we're here at work. This ain't a junky like fun house. Like, no. Yeah. We're going to be attention to detail and stick to it. And when you do that in one thing, you're going to do it in more things.
That's right.
I certainly remember just rolling my eyes at all the things like coaches and their slogans and stuff. And then the older I get, the more I'm like, man,
it's true.
Like, they were right. I shouldn't have been a cocky little because that stuff was real.
That's for
real.
So
the last thing I'll say about this is New England, they obviously have had a really, really fortuitous schedule, and that will continue for the rest of the season. But they are the only team other than Kansas City who's top 10 in EPA on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
How good do you when you guys have watched this team? Have you reassessed their division. Ceiling? Yeah, that's the ceiling, winning the division over the Bills.
Yeah, I yelled that out today on Get Up, and I kind of believe it. The more I think about it,
you're talking yourself into it after you said it on air.
Good.
Talking myself into it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the only thing that's slowing down the commitment is like the Josh Allen and the Bills' history of like defense improving as they go along through the season. But I mean, they beat the Bills.
Yeah, they did beat it. And a division always makes it like. But I will say this: like the receiving core for New England, like I think they have played at the highest level they can play at. Like they are absolutely. And if that continues, I would agree with Neek. Right? Like it's just a matter of rarely do you see those guys that you wouldn't say are the upper echelon of our game producing for 17 weeks. Like they go through little stints where they're all hot and it's like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, some defensive coordinator goes, no, we're gonna double this guy. We're gonna single the one, we're gonna double the two, or however they decide to take guys out of the game. We're gonna make one guy beat us. Because teams aren't just gonna sit there and let you keep doing what you want to do. And so I think that to me is like, when do you really see if they can separate themselves?
I wonder can I cliche for a second? Are they the team that no one's going to want to play in the first round of the playoffs? Which is because I ask this to Domonique every year and he rolls his eyes, but like May can get super hot. Booty and Diggs are super talented on a game by game basis. Vrabel's a great coach. The defense is really good. Like that's not a young quarterback. Oh, we're going to roll this team. They're just happy to be here. That's like a really dangerous high ceiling team week to week.
Kind of like Washington last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of group, right? They made the NFC Championship game. Like crazier things have happened.
And they got a Curtis. That's what Charlie calls 50 points.
Yeah, if you got hit with the Curtis.
They got 50 on them.
Oh, yeah. All right. So here's the thing that Domonique wants us to argue about.
I don't want us to argue about it. We're going to argue about it.
Yeah, we're going to argue it. So Mike Sando of The Athletic, who's one of the best to do it in his six things column, wrote about the uneven footing that organizations are in when they extend their rookie quarterback at top of the league money, and the guys, I don't know what to say, like don't continue to develop, stall out, end up not being the guy they thought it was going to be. And it was specifically about the money owed to Tua Tagovailoa, Trevor Lawrence, and Kyler Murray moving forward, and how those guys were paid like top of the league franchise QBs, but they haven't, had that impact since they signed their contract. And the question is, how should teams move forward with those players? And there's we can get to the sub conversation, but as we get to it, there's a weird phenomenon happening in the NFL with talented guys having second careers, whether it's Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield. There seems to be more and more of those guys who are on more team-friendly deals, who aren't from that traditional draft your guy and extend them type of thing.
I mean, you say how should they handle it? Like,
yeah,
you have a good quarterback, you pay your good quarterback, and you build up a roster around that good quarterback. If you have a bad quarterback, you don't pay your bad quarterback. The problem is when you have a quarterback who's like just good enough. And I think that's where it gets challenging, because all these guys that you're talking about have proven something. Like Trevor Lawrence is probably maybe the worst example, but he's had stretches of good play.
Right.
Tua had a really good season, and Kyler Murray has had several really good half seasons, right? That's like the Kyler Murray MO. And I don't understand, and I don't understand moving on from a guy like that. I just don't. Like Baker Mayfield was another example where the team moved on. Like, we have examples on both sides, and I think that's the difficulty. That's where Charlie and I eventually are going to disagree, is because quarterbacks are hard to find, and maybe I'm just a little more risk averse. And like, I got somebody, and I know that he's not perfect, but I don't feel like going back out here and living in the quarterback wilderness that I came from.
Right.
And we got a center / coach here who understands what it's like, how cold it is out there when you ain't got that, when you don't got a guy that's serviceable.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that to me is where if I own the organization, I'm probably looking for a coach versus trying to get rid of my player. Like if you believe or have seen or he has proven that he can carry you, now the 201 for me would have been difficult because of the injury. I don't know that I would have done that just in general. But it is what it is, right? They decided to go on and do that. But if I felt like, hey, this guy can get me 11 wins a year, and I'm probably going to go find the coach that I think can couple. I'm trying to go find the Ben Johnson of the world. I'm trying to go find Sean McVay, right? Who, man, Goff was considered a bit of a bust, right? Before McVay,
they attached picks to him to get Stafford.
Yeah, and then McVay lights him up, and then they send him on, and then he goes to a Super Bowl, and now he gets shipped off to Detroit and still plays good. Like, his career would have ended, and when you got Ben Johnson, his career has turned around, and now with Johnny Morton, he's still looking good. I just think that. I'm with you. I think players have certain qualities that people don't understand how really good they are. Yeah. And they think because they struggle on Sunday, oh, they suck, man. I could do. And you're like, bro, you have no idea what this guy's responsible for and how hard this job really is. And so I'm kind of with you, dude. I ain't trying to just go find in the draft the next guy.
Yeah, and I think that the fact that we've had Mayfield and Darnold and Daniel Jones right now. I guess we could say Geno a year ago. Geno Smith fell in
Geno definitely. And Goff definitely.
Yeah. These guys who started somewhere else and ended up being successful. Like, I understand that as a strategy if that person is available. But I also feel like you are looking for the person that you're moving on from. It's like you're looking for a guy who was very talented but didn't have success at a certain place. And so, like, I get it for teams who don't have a quarterback, but for teams who have a quarterback who's, like, above average, then I'm not willing to take that risk in hopes that – and I guess Jeff brought up the idea that if you're the owner, I'm more likely to maybe take that risk if I'm the owner. but that's not a job that anybody can realistically consider themselves in that role. If I'm the coach or the GM, I got a guy that showed he can do it. We're going to try to make this work with him.
Right.
No, I totally understand. And like, I understand the pressures of job preservation in the NFL and how hard it is to do that type of stuff. I don't have a job in the NFL, so I get to speak with, nor do I have the relationships of being part of the group of players. I certainly know, like, look, there's like, at certain points, we've had less than 10 good quarterbacks in the NFL. It's like, it's nearly impossible. And we understand, as a show maxim, situation matters immensely in the development of quarterbacks. We saw that even with the good years of Tua Tagovailoa, when they had Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Mike McDaniel had gotten the run game running, or like really rolling. Yeah. With that said, where I fall on this stuff is, if there are more good quarterbacks than ever, if there is a second draft of guys who might be more talented but need situational restarts, I think teams need to be really honest with what they have. And I bring this up because and I understand how tough the Trevor Lawrence one was. He was the most heralded prospect in a generation. Like, there's this path where he becomes Jim Plunkett on another team and wins a Super Bowl, and like his career is resuscitated. But like, you see on Sunday, the Cardinals look better on offense with Jacoby Brissett than they do with Kyler Murray. And this has been this ongoing thing. Or Tua Tagovailoa throwing his teammates under the bus and then giving you a 3-piece on Sunday to the other team. And it's just really hard as a fan or someone who looks at this stuff to not think, is there a better way to do this? Do we need to take this case by case? Is it because there are financial and flexibility things part? Sorry, go ahead.
You should always take it case by case. And I think the financial flexibility is a real thing, but it's kind of overplayed. It's like, you can structure contracts in a way that you
and can you explain this? Because this is because Baker, Darnold, they seem to have considerably cheaper deals. Like, they on paper, it looks like, no brainer. You can get this guy for like a third of the money.
Yeah. So the amount of money that you guarantee a player and the amount of money that's in a bonus can be prorated over 5 years of the contract. And the salary itself, if you want to boost the number up, you can backload the salary. So you can make, if you're looking to make a Super Bowl run, just because you re-signed your quarterback doesn't mean that your cap number has to be huge. And so, like, oftentimes what you end up doing is signing a guy and backloading his contract, and then you continue to guarantee more and more money so you can prorate it. And then when you get to those big numbers, you restructure his deal and do the same thing. So you're pushing it off. So if you're in your Super Bowl window, the idea of paying a quarterback, it isn't as limiting as we like boil it down to in these debates oftentimes, where you're like, he's going to have an average salary of $60 million a year. Like, okay, that's the average, but we can make it so that the cap hit is 30. The cap hit is 20, and we can still keep these guys in. And then we don't even have to pay the big cap hit because you just restructure it again and push it off. But there is some limitation to it. You reduce some level of flexibility, but I think it's incumbent on the front office at that point. You had a quarterback on a cheap deal. Draft well. Like, you have to get other players on cheap deals, because I think that's easier to do than to find another good quarterback. Yeah. And the other thing implicit in what you're saying is, like, this new model is, it will work if quarterbacks were running backs.
Correct.
Maybe we're getting to that point with all these retread quarterbacks. If you believe that you're ahead of the curve and most quarterbacks are good, then fine, go ahead, stream quarterbacks. That can be.
It's not streaming. It's just like the thing that I find is, like, and obviously there are void years. There's ways to move around the money and stuff that is far beyond me. But I call it the Bradley Beal corollary, where it's like your homegrown guy who's like, he's your savior, and you then invest top of the league money in it, and it's built around someone that's more flawed than, like, this isn't building around Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. It's building around someone who's considerably more flawed. And I understand that, like, when that's the case, you have to be perfect elsewhere and you have to build up the roster elsewhere. And I wonder how, if GMs are tied to the guys that they drafted at the top of the first round, and like, they aren't tied to their build of that when the guys are picked later. And then their decisions are, like, the whole decision tree is different when those guys have different organizational standing.
But I think the way that you're looking at it is they may be tied to them reputationally, right? But it's kind of revisionist history. Like, people People thought Peyton Manning wasn't good enough to get it done. People thought, right, like like Drew Brees, right? He gets passed on his.
Drew's a great example.
Yeah, I mean, there's Tom Brady is a 6th-round pick, right? I mean, like these. It wasn't like these guys were gifted. Hey, here's what you're going to have to go do. And I think part of it is when you. Like, look at the Atlanta Falcons now, right? They move on from Cousins and they go to Penix, but Cousins is still on their roster and he's making a boat ton of money. It's doable, right? Like you can still be effective and build rosters. I think the problem is it's more reputational for GMs than it is financial. Like these guys don't want to let whoever they drafted, like their name is attached, right? And that's how general managers go to the Hall of Fame. I picked this guy. Look what he did. He stayed with this team for whatever. There's a reason, like why draft picks matter to those guys. And I think the way they get evaluated to get, executive of the year and all those kinds of things are tied to how long they keep these guys on the roster and how effective these guys are on the roster. I think that's more to me than it is just like Nick said, man, you can make the numbers work. Like it's always been an excuse. You can pay who you want to pay. That is not hard to figure out.
The NBA comparison is a little inaccurate because their contracts are different.
Right.
And especially with what they've instituted.
And there's
now,
only 5 guys on the floor.
Effectively a hard cap is and they don't have the ability to move around the cap hit. Like the cap hit is going to be the cap hit. So effectively in the NBA, you have a max deal slot on your roster.
Right.
You have to fill it with your best player.
Right.
If your best player is a tier below the other team's best player, then your roster's dead. Football is so much more complex than that, is that there's so many different ways to win.
Yeah.
If your most important player takes up a big chunk, you can still change the contract structure so you can fit other guys in, and you can also change the style in which you play to de-emphasize that best player, which you really can't do in basketball. So
it's definitely not 1-to-1, but and it's not as debilitating as the NBA because it's one ball, 5 guys on the floor. In the modern NBA, whoever your best player is essentially functions as your point guard in your wing. It's still not plus EV to make bad decisions on an NFL roster.
Right. And so I guess that's the thing is I don't consider it a bad decision.
Right.
And I think you do. And I think the only way that that what you're saying works to me is that if it's easy to find a replacement.
No. I just maybe that's not.
Let me finish this. I'd rather overpay a good quarterback than get a bad quarterback for cheap.
Right.
And I understand that overpaying a good quarterback limits what we're able to do. However, you give me a bad quarterback, I can't do nothing.
No chance, right?
I can't do nothing.
No chance.
Now, if you give me a medium quarterback, that's fine. We can put something together. We can do I don't know. We can do it. I don't want to insult anybody, but it happens around the league. But it also,
who literally is the last team in the NFL with a quarterback that you would say is, that wouldn't even carry your, the Ravens.
Oh yeah.
2000, was it 2000?
That's the last one, Dilfer?
Yeah, that would be right where he was just basically a part, right? Like they didn't score a touchdown for 3 weeks.
The last time there was a successful a championship team.
Yeah, without a dude at that position. It's hard in the NFL, man. It is hard. Yeah.
I don't know. That's the thing about it though. Is I don't know if those guys. The thing I guess what it boils down to me is I get it. You would pay the full dollar for the guy who's giving you B to B minus work in those guys in a Kyler or a Tua because of what they've shown. Where I'm saying is the 50 cents for a C plus and roll the dice on it. That is an interesting way of thinking about it because I don't see the ceiling of Tua or Kyler or those guys being that different than much cheaper guys.
Okay, so this is the difference is maybe you can say that now, but I feel
I'm Captain Hindsight.
Yeah, I feel like when you're signing these deals, you do expect these guys to get better and grow. That's part of the reason. If they don't, that's fine. It's not always only on them, but I still would feel better in a situation with that than hoping I could find something else. If you hit the lottery and find one of these guys like Jayden Daniels, then we're good. It doesn't matter. But if you don't and you get an average guy, the problem is the league most of the teams have this experience where they are looking for a quarterback, like, and keep looking
In
for a quarterback,
perpetuity.
and they're
Like
like,
the Steelers last 7 years, where their defense has aged and their
Right.
super
That's a
window may
perfect
have even
example.
closed.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
because at no point, I mean, they never had the guy they drafted. They never really went looking for him either.
Yeah, they tried and Pickett,
Yeah.
didn't work out.
I mean,
and
Pickett was also like a 20-something pick, right? Like,
Right.
it wasn't the same. It was like, oh, he's still there?
The Pickett thing is so funny. It's totally because of the way that COVID changed scouting. Because he was in the building, they actually shared the building with
Right.
Pitt, and they were like, "We love this guy. Look at how awesome this dude is. He's in our backyard." Like, there are actual stories written about that. They just got way more of a look at him because of that weird period of scouting.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
That's not good. Not good.
Oh well. Anyway,
No,
glad
definitely
we
not.
fixed you, Charlie. You're back on track.
We didn't even argue that much. We respectfully made our points.
I know, it's disappointing. I was looking forward to ganging up on you with my buddy Jeff.
We can all gang up on. Actually, I don't know if we're gonna gang up on Jerry Jones for this. But have you seen this report? Trey Wingo's talking about it. Spotrax talked about the contract and how you could trade for it. That the Cowboys are actively calling about Maxx Crosby.
No.
Is this classic Jerry Jones in a good way or a bad way?
So, I mean, it's stupid. I don't know why you would let your player let Micah Parsons leave only to sign a player who's not as good as Micah Parsons to do the same thing. Like, I don't know. Or to trade for him, to give up assets to get a player, and then also I guess the contract won't be as difficult. The Raiders will probably hold on to some of that money, but yeah, I don't know. It seems, and it also feels like it's not going to work. Like, it's not going to solve their defense. I don't know. There's nothing about this that I like.
I like it. I like it.
I
don't get him. I like it, dude. If I'm Jerry Jones, I'm going to get it. I'm gonna get a half-priced defensive end who's on a team that's over, and just give him a breath of hope. He plays hard, and he ain't gonna be there nearly as long as Micah would have been there, but. You figure with the pieces you're picking up, you're gonna build around and maybe try to help that guy. But if you're Jerry Jones and you've done this to this team and you're looking at how good your offense is week in and week out,
got to do something.
You got to do something, man. Like, that's just in my opinion. Otherwise, you're losing the locker room. Like, if dudes see, hey, and it may not help. To Nick's point, maybe it doesn't help, but at least you didn't watch strike three, right? You swung at it and it was what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where I fall on it too, because like I'm gonna make the case with Jeff of it being Jerry in a good way. You made a mistake. You realize that. Should that bear any connection to what you do now moving forward? Because then if you're letting that mistake dictate your next move, that can be extra punitive. You look at this offense, which I think is the best in the NFC. You look at the conference, and I don't think there is a dominant team. Like, we talked about this a little bit this morning, Domonique, and like my gut is the Rams are the best team in the conference, but Rams, Eagles, Lions, they're right at the top, but the spread doesn't seem debilitating for you to go all in. And it's like, you might be able to get Crosby for a first round pick, and it's like Kenny Clark, a first round pick, and Maxx Crosby for Micah Parsons looks a lot less bad. And I mean, when you talked about adding Micah Parsons, in the first place, you were like, this is a guy that everything trickles down from. He is a true alpha edge rusher. Your entire defense comes of it. And like, I know that Maxx Crosby hasn't been quite as dominant as he was last year before, some injuries he picked up along the way, but he's still like, this is one of the best defensive players in the entire league. And just what you can do, the amount of time that you have to like guard on defense just goes down so significantly when you have a guy like that. And it's just like, if not now, then when? Jerry's not going to be around forever.
Yeah.
I think Canty made me laugh by talking about Jerry last year and said he's not buying any green bananas.
Yeah, for sure.
Which was the best line. The best way to say it. But I mean, you got sold me. Go ahead. Trade for him.
Yeah.
It won't get any worse. It might get better. Yeah,
you never know. Maybe you hit the lottery, dog, and he comes in and lights it up. And
it gives you a chance, because right now it doesn't feel like they're going to have to outscore everybody, which feels almost impossible to do every single week.
I love that people think like, it's just like it's going to just be easy for Dak, and they're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
Pickens, and well.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, defenses are really
They've
good.
gone on a good run.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's going to keep
Thank
happening
you.
every week.
7 more weeks of 40 points is a lot of points, man. Like, that's a lot of freaking points. Like, give me a break, dude. Can I have a day where I score 24 and we have a good win? Like, I don't need that to score above 30. It's exhausting. You're
they
like,
make it so you have to.
Yeah, that's brutal, man. It's brutal.
Oh, well.
All right. I this one is sort of a little breaking topic. We'll do this one quick. But there's been a lot of talk about Aaron Glenn and stuff, and the way that things have gone so far. They're 0-7. He's moving towards naming Tyrod Taylor his starter. But how are you feeling today if you're Aaron Glenn after Woody Johnson supported you by ripping the quarterbacks?
Depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't feel good on the heels of watching my replacement seem to do fine without me in Detroit, and I can't get a win. The pressure is mounting. The quarterback situation, the one I went and got, is not good enough. The one that I put in there is obviously not in his prime, and the owner is out here showing that he will throw somebody under the bus. I'm next. It don't feel good.
No.
It don't feel good.
No. And it's unfortunate, man. I think Aaron Glenn came in, and what you're hoping is, he was with Dan Campbell when they come over to Detroit, right? And in this same situation, the Ford family, or they back. He's going to be their man. We're going to continue to run this back. And what they were 10-1 maybe, or something like that. And then they get 3 wins, and then the next year's not good. And they still keep fighting for him, right? And it's like, I think Aaron had this long-term vision, understanding a lot of culture with the Jets needs to be broken and rebuilt, and that takes time. I'm one of those guys. Like, I think Aaron Glenn will do a very good job, and I think the positions and the places where everybody are, like, you got to let them develop too. And it's not like you walked in, everybody's like, well, their talent is good. Well, there's the Raiders. I played the Raiders a ton. They were always talented. They never won, man. Like, you would go through phases where they'd be good, but they weren't. You were never scared, right? You knew they were going to be undisciplined. They were going to make mistakes that beat themselves. They were going to do things, get some, crazy penalty at some, bad time in the game. It was like, just let them beat themselves. And I think that's kind of
a really good point, is that we don't talk about how habits take time to break and culture take time to build. And the team that we see right now is like the best version of the team, given the amount of time that he had. Is like, it's all the habits aren't broken. All the things, all the culture's not in place. Unfortunately, he also makes some really bad in-game decisions.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Another conversation for another time.
But that's him learning.
Yeah.
And let me just say this, because I did this for just a short period of time, right? And I will say this: coaches, they cast vision. Like, everybody talks about like culture and like, even Dan Campbell, he gets a ton of the culture that Dan Campbell has built. Okay, Dan cast the vision.
Right.
The guys that he drafted bought into that vision. They are the ones who create the culture in the locker room. Yep. They create it on the field, right? Like they take
position coaches.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's not, and like, I love what Dan Campbell's doing. This is not a slight, but it's like the head coach can only give you a vision and like hey man, this is how we're going to head. But everybody else in that building has to buy in and then replicate it. And so that when someone comes into your culture, it's either a fit or they're gone. Like, there is no in between. Like, you find it in guys. And I think we try to shortchange that and like build these and they're not there. And I had this conversation
young kids on TikTok. Man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I talked to Jim Irsay about this, right? And I said, Jim, like, when I was leaving the organization and we had these conversations, and I was like, man, we're going to be in the same place for 3 years. Like, you can think whatever, but it's going to take time to get to where you want to get. And we're 3 years removed, and Shane's done a great job of building what he needed to build, and now they got this thing running. But it takes time to get the ship turned around, and everybody bought in on the same vision. And it requires players to develop the culture, not just a coach speak.
By the way, I keep circling back to that article about Vrabel's culture and Drake Maye, but I do want to reference that they said that was a pretty unique situation because of how weird the last 2 years of Belichick were, and then like how his relationship with Gerard Mayo devolved, and that there was it was starting from a true zero. It wasn't even removing bad culture when he got there. He was able to like replace everything really quickly. It's like 70% new players, et cetera. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I hadn't thought about that it's a long process because of turning the ship around. His was just starting in the right direction with this stuff. But can I read a couple of these insult quotes from Woody Johnson?
Go ahead. We're going to end with insult quotes.
The first one is, if we could just complete a pass, it would look good.
Oh, jeez.
And the second part is, it looks like Aaron Glenn's turning around parts of it. It's hard when you have a quarterback with the rating that we've got. He's got the ability, but something is just not jiving. If you look at any head coach with a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results across the league. You have to play consistently at that position, and we're going to try and do that for the remainder of the season.
Gosh, now you got to go back to work as Justin Fields. Like
That's so tough.
It's brutal, though. It's brutal.
On that note,
God, it was a really somber
we're going to laugh and have fun with that. That made us sad.
Oh, bro, it breaks you.
Thanks a lot, Charlie.
God, Charlie.
I'm going to go
That's a man's professional life, man. Don't worry about it, man. Appreciate you smashing him on the way out.
I'm going to go have a cup.
Was it Woody Johnson said it, not me.
I need a chocolate bar.
You liked it too much.
Yeah, you really did. You were
really. His son picked players by playing Madden last year. It's ridiculous. Why is this?
Giddy. You're too giddy about this. You're too giddy.
Why your team stinks. All right. Thank you, Charlie. Thanks, Jeff, for joining us. Thanks, all the great producers. We out.
This is the Domonique Foxworth Show.